something that stood out to me with the trans ban in World Rugby was it was really kind of championed by this group known as Fair Play for Women, which is another group which is trying to package itself in a very specific way, right? Oh, well, who's not for fair play for women?
Right.
But what they actually do is they advocate for, excluding trans women from women's only spaces like prisons and shelters and things that are just inherently harmful to trans people, but also to women, because I think that historically there's been a kinship between trans women and cis women in a lot of ways where they have found community in each other in sort of the marginalization they've experienced and
Right.
being able to support each other. So seeing that and seeing that Fair Play for Women, quote unquote, was one of the people who was allowed, from what I heard at the World Rugby proceedings, it was World Rugby, and then there were trans athletes who were being asked about their experiences and being told that they were anecdotal, and then Fair Play for Women, which is a known, trans exclusionary group. And these are the three kind of bodies. So it's cis white men, trans exclusionary group, and then the actual people being affected by it who are being told that their experiences are, like I said, anecdotal and kind of irrelevant is what they were being told. So that's how they formed these kinds of decisions, and that's how a lot of these sort of decisions are being made, is they're being packaged by groups, like I said, that are trying to kind of signal that they're fighting for women's equality or they're fighting for equity, but it's all kind of a guise just so they can continue to demonize trans people.
Yeah, and I think this is really speaks to the importance of creating other forms of media, other forms of engagement, and also creating other ways of entering into these conversations, and why it's so important, for you to be someone who's really using your platform to bring these issues forward. And because I think, you're someone who creates like a really wonderful bridge into a community that maybe wasn't aware of trans exclusionary tactics, right?
Yeah.
And I think I think one thing I've really learned in these last couple of years is, especially with fake news and seeing how
Yes.
media is really weaponized, right? How media is weaponized, and how information is weaponized, and how, a lack of information really keeps people in a place of fear,
Yeah.
or when information gets twisted, right? Or rhetoric gets twisted, or when things get used in a way where, as you're saying, it seems like it's doing good, but it's actually really harming another group of people. And that's why it's important to bring these things forward and to have these conversations, because the more media we can create to kind of challenge those narratives, I think is really can be really beneficial, because then that information gets out there, right?